Last week, 3 men approached me at the gym, all mid-60s, all asking for the secret. I had to tell them something brutal. There is no secret. You're fighting odds that make a lottery ticket look promising. Having a great physique at 65, you're literally an anomaly. Less than 2% of men your age pull this off. 2%. But nobody's telling you why that number is so devastatingly low. Or, and this matters, why you might actually have better odds than the statistics suggest. I've spent a decade studying what separates that 2% from everyone else. Turns out 3 factors, not 10, 3. And if you're over 60, stick around, because the first one contradicts everything you've been told about aging and muscle. So, let's break down the real data. Number 1, the brutal statistics. Why 2%? Why is that number so shockingly low? The data doesn't lie, and it's not pretty. Only 1.8% to 8% of men over 65 have what's clinically considered an athletic body composition. We're talking lean muscle mass, low body fat, functional strength, the kind of physique that turns heads, not because it's unusual for your age, but because it's unusual, period. And it gets worse. After 30, you're losing 3 to 8% of your muscle mass every decade. Sounds manageable, right? Not quite. Because after 60, that decline accelerates hard. This isn't a gentle slope, it's a cliff. Researchers call it sarcopenia, but I call it what it is, your body deciding to cash out early if you let it. Wait, let me show you something that'll change how you see this. That drop you're looking at, that's the average trajectory. Muscle mass plummeting, bone density declining, metabolic rate tanking, and testosterone. Sure, it's part of the equation. Levels drop about 1% per year after 40, but it's not the whole story. Plenty of guys with low T still maintain incredible physiques and plenty with normal levels. They're skinny, fat, and weak. The real issue is this: your body becomes less efficient at building and maintaining muscle. Protein synthesis, the process that actually builds tissue, slows down, recovery takes longer, inflammation creeps up, your body starts fighting against you instead of with you. I've watched this unfold with dozens of clients. One guy, 68, came to me convinced his genetics were the problem. Nope, he was eating like a bird. Barely 60 grams of protein daily and training twice a week inconsistently. He wasn't losing the genetic lottery. He was just playing by rules that stopped working 2 decades ago. So, if the deck is stacked this high against you, why bother? Because those statistics, they're based on the average man. And you're not watching a 16-minute video about physique optimization because you want to be average. Number 2, why most fail and it's not what you think. Why do 98% of men over 60 never crack the code? It's not laziness. It's not even lack of effort. Most guys are doing the work, they're just doing the wrong work. First up, recovery capacity. It doesn't just decline, it crashes. You're not bouncing back from workouts like you did at 40, your sleep quality tanks. Deep sleep, the phase where growth hormone peaks and muscle repair happens, gets cut in half for most men past 60. You're also dealing with chronic low-grade inflammation that your younger self cleared out overnight. Now it lingers. Then there's the protein problem. And this one's massive. Your body needs more protein as you age, not less. Yet most men do the opposite. They eat like retirees. Light breakfast, salads for lunch, sensible dinners. Meanwhile, their muscle tissue is starving. You need 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight just to maintain what you've got, to build even more. I had a client last year, 67, former marathoner, thought he was eating clean, tracked his intake for a week, 58 grams of protein daily, 58. His body was cannibalizing his own muscle just to function. When I showed him the numbers, he was floored. But I eat chicken and eggs, he said. Sure, 3 ounces of chicken at dinner and 1 egg at breakfast. That's not a protein strategy, that's a snack. Now, this is where it gets interesting. There's also the training age paradox. A guy who's lifted consistently since his 30 seconds, he's got decades of neuromuscular adaptation, muscle memory. His body knows how to build. But a guy starting at 65, he's learning a foreign language while his biology actively resists him. Both can succeed, but the roadmap looks completely different. And don't overlook the social factor. After retirement, accountability evaporates. No coworkers, no structure, no one checking if you showed up. You're on an island. Most men drift. They tell themselves tomorrow until tomorrow becomes never. Contrast that with the 2%. They've built systems. They track. They show up when motivation's gone. They've stopped negotiating with themselves. So, if biology is working against you and most strategies fail, what separates the guys who make it? I studied them, interviewed them, trained them, and they all share 3 non-negotiables. Not 5, not a dozen, 3. And the first one, it's not what the fitness industry's been selling you. Number 3, the 2%, what they actually do. The 3 non-negotiables. Factor 1, training consistency, not intensity. The 2% don't destroy themselves in the gym. They show up 4 to 5 days a week, every week for years, not months. They're not chasing PRs like 20-somethings. They're chasing progressive overload, adding 5 lbs here, 2 reps there. Slow, steady, deliberate. They lift with purpose, not ego. Compound movements form the foundation: squats, deadlifts, presses, rows. Then they add strategic isolation work for stubborn areas. A solid split for guys over 65, upper or lower 4 days a week. The key isn't complexity, it's showing up when you don't feel like it. When your knee's a bit stiff, when it's cold outside, when motivation left the building 3 months ago. That's what separates them. They've divorced their actions from their feelings. Factor 2, protein priority, the forgotten macronutrient. This one's a game changer, and most guys get it dead wrong. You need a minimum of 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. Non-negotiable. If you're 180 lb, 82 kilograms, that's 100 to 130 grams every single day. And don't spread it thin. Your body needs leucine-rich servings to trigger muscle protein synthesis. That means 30 to 40 grams per meal, not 10 grams here and there. 3 meals a day might be sabotaging you. 4 smaller protein-dense meals often work better for guys past 60. Your body doesn't store amino acids like it used to. You've got to feed it consistently. Greek yogurt, eggs, lean beef, chicken thighs, salmon, protein shakes. If you're falling short, stop treating protein like a suggestion. It's the raw material your body uses to rebuild what training breaks down. Stop. Before we go further, you need to know this. Most men undereat protein by 40 to 60 grams daily. They're working hard in the gym and wondering why nothing changes. You can't build a house without bricks. You can't build muscle without protein. Simple math. Factor 3, recovery architecture. Sleep isn't optional. 7 to 8 hours non-negotiable. And not just any sleep, deep, restorative sleep. That's where growth hormone gets released, where muscle repair happens. But recovery isn't just sleep. It's active recovery days. Walking, mobility work, light swimming, movement without load. The 2% don't sit around on off days. They move intentionally. They manage inflammation with omega-3s, curcumin, stretching routines, and they understand the cortisol-muscle connection. Chronic stress eats muscle. Period. High cortisol kills protein synthesis and ramps up muscle breakdown. So, they prioritize stress management, meditation, time in nature, cutting out toxic relationships, not woo-woo stuff, biological necessity. Drop a comment. What's harder for you, hitting protein targets or getting quality sleep? Genuinely curious because the answers usually surprise me. So, those are your 3 factors. Train consistently. Prioritize protein. Architect your recovery. But those are just the mechanics. There's a deeper layer here, one most trainers won't touch. And it's the psychological game that determines whether you actually stick with this long enough to see results. Because discipline gets you started, but identity, that's what keeps you going. Number 4, the mental game nobody talks about. You've got the mechanics down, training, protein, recovery, but none of it matters if your head's not in the game. And after 60, the mental battle gets brutal in ways nobody prepares you for. Motivation dies. That fire you had at 35, the drive that pushed you through brutal workouts, it fades. You can't rely on it anymore. What replaces it? Systems. Identity. The cold, unsexy truth that you show up because that's who you are now, not because you feel inspired. The 2% have rewired how they see themselves. They're not trying to get fit. They are fit. That distinction, it's everything. Then there's the comparison trap. And this one's insidious. You look at photos of yourself at 30, leaner, stronger, fuller muscle bellies, and you think, I'll never get back there. You're right, you won't. Because that's not the game anymore. You're not competing with 30-year-old you, you're building the best 65-year-old version of yourself. Different metrics, different victories, but society doesn't make it easy. Family tells you to slow down. Friends mock your meal prep. Doctors raise eyebrows when you mention deadlifts. There's this unspoken pressure to act your age, which really means decline gracefully and stop caring. The 2%, they ignore all of it. They've stopped apologizing for wanting more. And then there's the timeline issue. Results take 2 to 3 times longer after 60. You're not seeing abs in 90 days. You're not adding 20 lbs of muscle in 6 months. The compounding happens slowly, painfully slowly. I'll be honest, I've watched guys give up because they didn't see dramatic changes fast enough. They put in 3 months of solid work, see minimal visual progress, and quit. Meanwhile, the guys who made it, they measured success differently. One client celebrated lifting 10 lbs heavier at 66 than he did at 64. Another celebrated waking up pain-free for the first time in years. They redefined winning. Because this isn't about transformation photos, it's about becoming someone who doesn't negotiate. Someone who values their body enough to feed it right, move it consistently, and rest it properly day after day, year after year. That presence, that quiet confidence of knowing you're doing what 98% won't. That's what people notice, not your biceps, your energy, the way you carry yourself. The fact that you're still in the arena while everyone else is on the sidelines making excuses. Comment your age and your biggest win this year. Doesn't matter how small. Let's celebrate it. So, what does all this actually look like in practice? Let me break down the weekly blueprint. The exact structure the 2% follow. The weekly blueprint. You want the practical roadmap? This is it. Training 4 days a week. Upper-lower split works beautifully for most guys over 60. Monday and Thursday, upper body. Tuesday and Friday, lower body. Compound movements first, bench press, rows, overhead press, pull-downs for upper, squats, Romanian deadlifts, leg press, lunges for lower, 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Progressive overload every week, even if it's just 1 extra rep. Finish with isolation work. Bicep curls, lateral raises, calf raises, the detail work that fills out your frame. Rest days, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. But rest doesn't mean collapse on the couch. Walk 6,000 to 8,000 steps. Do mobility drills. Foam roll, keep blood flowing. Protein, 4 meals, 30 to 40 grams each. Breakfast, 4 eggs, Greek yogurt. Lunch, chicken breast, quinoa, veggies. Post-workout, protein shake with banana. Dinner, salmon, sweet potato, greens. That's 120 plus grams right there. Consistent daily, no exceptions, don't wing it. Track for 2 weeks until it becomes automatic. Your body doesn't care about your intentions, it responds to what you actually feed it. Recovery. Non-negotiable sleep hygiene. Bedroom cool, 65 to 68 degree. Dark, no screens 1 hour before bed. Magnesium supplement before sleep. Consistent bedtime, 7 to 8 hours minimum. This isn't negotiable if you want results. Manage inflammation. Omega-3 seconds daily. Curcumin if joint pain is an issue. Stretching routine every morning 10 minutes. That's it. Your future self will thank you. Tracking metrics that actually matter. Forget the scale. Track strength progression. Did you add weight, reps, both? That's progress. Track energy levels. Do you feel better week over week? Track recovery markers. Are you waking up sore or refreshed? Take progress photos monthly. Same lighting, same angle, same time of day. Because changes happen slowly, and you need objective evidence when your brain tells you nothing's working. What's your current training frequency? 2 days, 4 days, 6 days? Let me know below. I'm reading every comment. Look, I'm not selling you fairy tales. This takes time, months, years, but you've already put in decades on this planet. What's a few more years invested in becoming the strongest version of yourself you've ever been? The 2% didn't get there by accident. They got there by decision. Daily decisions, boring decisions, decisions nobody applauds until the results become undeniable. So, the question isn't whether you can do this, it's whether you're willing to become the kind of man who does. Because being an anomaly, that's not about genetics or luck, it's about standards. And right now you're choosing yours, you're 65, maybe 67, maybe 72, and you want a great physique. That already makes you rare. Most men have waved the white flag, accepted the decline, settled into good enough. You haven't. Remember those 3 guys who approached me at the gym? They wanted the secret, and I told you there isn't one. Just 3 factors executed relentlessly: consistent training, protein priority, recovery architecture. Boring? Absolutely. Effective? The 2% prove it every single day. But beyond the mechanics, there's something deeper. It's the identity shift. The moment you stop trying to be fit and start being someone who doesn't negotiate with themselves, someone who shows up, who tracks, who prioritizes their body when the world tells them to coast, you're literally fighting statistics that say you can't. And every rep, every meal, every night of quality sleep, that's you proving them wrong. So yes, you're an anomaly. But anomalies aren't born. They're built one decision at a time. One workout, one protein-rich meal, one recovery day where you chose movement over the couch. The 2% isn't some exclusive club you're locked out of. It's a standard. And standards are chosen, not assigned. If this shifted how you're approaching your training, hit that subscribe button. I'm breaking down physique strategy, training science, and the truth about building muscle after 60 every single week. No fluff, no hype, just what works. And if you want the full training template I use with clients over 60, the exact split, rep ranges, and progression model, it's linked below. Grab it, use it, become it. The world needs more men who refuse to decline. Be one of them. I'll see you in the next one. Now go lift something heavy.